to the end zone and spikes it for a Patriots touchdown.
The Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the six-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Fires down the middle for Bourne, reaches up, extends, lands in the end zone, between two defenders. Touchdown, Patriots!
Christian Arcan, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are home against the Indianapolis Colts.
James White puts it under the right arm, puts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown! And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
Christian Arcan, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
All right, here we go. Welcome in. It is Patriots Pregame Show fueled by Dunkin. I'm Christian Arcand alongside Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo. How you doing, fellas?
Doing good. Great.
Let's
doing
go.
Great. Another 1 o'clock Sunday game. Can't be better than that.
I'll tell you what, this is my first home game working with you guys, and there was a lot more people who stopped me and said, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Where's your badge?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't have one." And that took me a long time to get here, so I'm glad to have made it. I'm glad to be here with you guys as we get ready for the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. And, Paul, since I know you're on a strict schedule here, let's dispense with the pleasantries and jump right into our keys to the game.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Christian, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why, did I steal your key to the game also? You have the key to it. You have the right one.
Okay, we got our keys to the game. We'll start with you, Deuce. What do you got?
Well, mine's kind of a general one. I see what you guys got. I think they're great. I went big, though. It's fly into the bye. You know, here we go. Chance for the Patriots to get a winning record. The Colts, very curious what kind of effort they're going to put forth today. They come in, they're ready to play. We know what happened last year, but just a great chance, I think, to get to 5-4, a winning record, that get to the bye week, have some positive vibes going, set them up for the second half of the season, if you will. I know it's a 17-game season now. I hate that. But there'll be 8 games left after the bye, so that's mine. Fly into the bye, play good, do what you got to do just to get the win, and I think that'll set them up well just for a positive, hopefully, second half of the season.
I like how he said it. Our keys are good, but,
Well, you guys are specific. I think you guys are both dead on with what you're saying. That's like when you get specifically into the game. What do they need to do?
When you talk about the game?
Yeah, mine's just
the keys to the game, and when you actually talk about the game, Mike likes that.
I'm like big picture philosophical.
My key to the game is win the game.
Right.
All right, that's fly into the bye. There you go. Paul Perillo, what's your key to the game?
Well, for me, I remain concerned about the offensive line and the injuries that they've suffered. No David Andrews again. Marcus Cannon now on IR. Not sure how many of our listeners are up to speed with that. Handful of roster moves made Friday and Saturday. So, to me, the key to the game is pass protection. If you want Mac Jones to look more like the guy we saw for the most part as a rookie last year, you have to give him some time, and you have to allow him the opportunity to get comfortable in a game. That never happened last week at the Meadowlands against the Jets. I don't think he ever was allowed to sort of settle in and figure out exactly how he was going to attack that Jets defense. They need to do a better job today, especially early on, of allowing him to get comfortable, get the offense in motion, and do what Deuce needs to have happen in order for them to fly into the bye.
All right. My key to the game is for them to simply finish drives. I was here with you guys last week. We watched them get into the red zone, not all the time by themselves. A lot of the times the defense handed them the ball right there on the right side of the field, and they could not finish drives. In fact, a lot of times they couldn't even get a first down, had to settle for a ton of field goals. You go back to this game against the Colts last year, a lot of drives ended really badly in that game. There was a bunch of turnovers. There was that blocked punt. That game was not as close as it looked on the scoreboard, and that game also ended what was a pretty nice win streak for this team last year and really kind of put them back in their place of a fringe playoff team when it looked like maybe they were going to be something other than that. I think the way to change that this year and the way to sort of exercise those demons is to just finish your drives off, get in the end zone, and stop settling for so many field goals.
Yeah, I think you two really just nailed, I think, the biggest issues with the offense, the pass protection last week. That's number 1A, and certainly without David Andrews coming back, that's one thing you were kind of hoping for. Another week of James Ferentz. Buckner on their side. They got some disruptive big guys. I think that's where it's going to be won or lost. But overall, though, finishing finishing in the end zone with touchdowns, not settling for field goals. It's just a huge step for this offense to take. Totally agree with you guys.
Yeah, I think that we all sort of agree that the Patriots offense against the Colts defense is going to be the tough thing here because the Colts don't have Taylor. Sam Ellinger's not anybody that we're afraid of, and they got a couple of receivers who can catch the ball, but I don't know that Ellinger can get it to him. So really the matchup that's going to be the toughest for Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia and Joe Judge and everybody else and Mac Jones is going to be going up against this Colts front, that Colts secondary. They got playmakers at really all three levels of the defense. This is a very tough customer defense here in Indy.
I think it's where the game might be kind of defined because maybe I'm foolish, but I feel like this is lining up for like a classic Steve Belichick, Gerard Mayo. Here comes a team without a lot of their best players. Usually these games tend to add up that this Patriots defense should mostly shut them down. But I think as Paul kind of alluded to, the wild card is just the Colts defensive front. They're still the same guys. They're very good. They can be dominant. They're big. They have a nice combination of size up front, speed in back of that. When you get into talking about James Ferentz and, with Isaiah Wynn, can Cole Strange bounce back? If that Colts defensive front is disruptive, is winning the line of scrimmage, is getting Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield before he can get going, then we might really be talking about a sub 20-point kind of rock fight between these two teams.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Patriots defense. This one shapes up to me as one of those games that we're all sticking our chests out after the game, talking about how dominant the Patriots defense is. Really just like last week. A team without many weapons, and the few that they have are not playing, like last week with the Jets. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Ellinger comes in here and pulls a Justin Fields and has a really out of character productive game. First road start ever for a kid in his second year. But let's face it, he's like a rookie. He hasn't played at all, and I just think you're asking an awful lot without Jonathan Taylor. And for him to come in here and sort of do some of the things that Justin Fields did a couple of weeks ago on that Monday night game and find ways to move the ball. He's not that kind of a runner. He's more of a power runner than a finesse runner. He's not going to make you miss. He's not going to run by you. He's not, a dynamic athlete. He's more of a Taysom. Well, he's not even. I wouldn't even put his athleticism in Taysom Hill's category. He's like that in that he runs with power, but Hill's a better athlete too. So I do think Ellinger, scrappy gamer kind of player, but I'm not sure he's got the experience to match wits with a Bill Belichick defense and really do much damage.
Yeah, and the Colts are a team that's in upheaval right now. Their quarterback has been benched. They fired their offensive coordinator. Like, they have all this sort of stuff going on, which if the Patriots were going through all this stuff, we'd say, man, this team's really a mess. Like, this team really needs to get their act together. They need to figure out what they're going to be and what their identity is and sort of everything else. With the Colts, I kind of feel like that's applicable, what's going on here?
I think it's a huge thing, and for me, I talked a lot about it this week. I just wonder if the Patriots get out to a lead, how much fight does this Colts team have in line? Now, certainly there are teams that go through turnover, and the guys, bring some energy, and they maybe have kind of a death rattle where they play well for a couple weeks for themselves. But, I wonder, you just look at the backfield. I mean, the defining kind of characteristic of this team the last couple of years has been Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines. Well, those guys are both not going to play today. So, just where do these guys go? I would put it on the Indy offensive line, talented group, probably playing below expectations. I think if they're going to have a chance, those guys need to dominate up front and really push the Patriots defensive line around. And then maybe you might be talking about something. All of a sudden, your Colorado buff, Philip Lindsay might start picking up some yards. It's not crazy to imagine that kind of happening. I'm just going to lean more towards what we've traditionally seen over the last couple of years when they play a team that's kind of overmatched defensively. They kind of come after.
And
them
I do wonder, like they lost Hines. They ended up picking up, Zach Moss in that trade, and he just got there. So I don't know what kind of workload he can get, just coming in on the fly like this. But he's a talented runner, a talented player who really kind of got stuck behind Devin Singletary and all those weapons that they have in Buffalo, so never really got a chance to consistently show what he could do. But I do wonder if he got out there and had a chance, in that offensive line, like you said, kind of underwhelming so far this year, but certainly talented.
Guy. Yeah, absolutely.
You do wonder about the X factor of a guy like that maybe isn't high on the game plan heading into the week, and then all of a sudden he gets injected right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Paul. Before you go, let's touch back on your key to the game of pass protection. I think that could also go. The things that you mentioned, I think, are applicable to the run game too. Ramondre Stevenson had a real breakout game last week. He looked like he was ready in the passing game and the running game to sort of establish himself as the main guy of that group. Do you think that the pass protection issues that they had last week could bleed over against the front like this?
Yeah, like I mean, to be honest with you, I thought it's been like that since the Lions game. He really hasn't had much room to run, and what he's getting is all on his own. Over the last, 4 weeks, Cleveland, Chicago, last 3 weeks anyway. He's had a big run every once in a while, and that sort of makes the numbers look a little bit better, but. I think he had 15 carries for 30-something yards last week if you took out that 35-yard run, which, again, was all on his own.
Yeah.
Like hitting the backfield, breaking tackles, unbelievable individual effort. So, yeah, I think Stevenson has emerged as the guy, capital T, capital G, but I'm not as confident in the amount of room he's going to have to run.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you there. I think that's going to be a tough call for him, and Harris if he gets some carries in this game too. Just going up against Buckner and the rest of those guys there, it's a very formidable front for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, they've been tough against the run. I think they're third or fourth in the league in average per carry allowed. So
there you go.
It's a pretty good run defense.
Tamir, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and J.J. Taylor was put up to the active roster today, so he could be a factor too. Pierce Strong on the injury report, so we'll see how kind of shakes out with those guys.
Lynn Bowden, also promoted from the practice squad. So clearly they have some designs. Looks like Damian Harris probably wouldn't play. Yeah. That's when I saw that J.J. Taylor and Lynn Bowden. I immediately said, well, that doesn't bode well for Damian Harris being up today.
Got it. All right. Tamara Brown is here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Tamara.
Your key to the game is?
Don't be a doormat. Which half of my key initially was assuming that Jonathan was playing, but he's obviously not playing. And so I think that now it's probably all talking about the offensive line. I don't want them to be a doormat in the sense of being walked all over by this Colts front. I want better protection for Mac Jones today so he can hopefully be more comfortable. The line had a lot of issues last game. Obviously, no David Andrews again today, and Marcus Cannon as well. So I think that it could be a little bit shaky. So I'm hoping that, they don't get walked all over from the front with the Colts. And, even with Jonathan Taylor out, I'm hoping that the Colts offense as well doesn't run all over the Patriots defense. So don't be a doormat.
You know what I noticed? None of us mentioned Mac Jones.
I did.
I mean, well, none of us mentioned him as the key that we have. He has to go have a good game. It's all on him to go out there and win this game with his arm. Not one of us even came close to saying that.
I think that it starts up front. If he's not comfortable, if he's constantly being sacked in this game, and he's constantly having to scramble and escape the pocket, I think that it can be a long day for him. So I'm hoping that somehow they make an offensive line that's going to be sturdy enough for him to feel comfortable to have a good game.
Yeah, and I think part of the story too this week has been Mac Jones, the game manager, and I think that's what we're kind of leaning into, at least this week. Get a good defense again. We'll see, but I think it's just more about the mistakes. But the offensive line stuff is absolutely a huge part of this whole puzzle, and I just wonder if you can give him some good protection early on if he starts to get comfortable and he starts to find a rhythm. It doesn't seem like it's been that easy to find those things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The phone number is 855-PATS-500. You can email the show at webradio@patriots.com. We'll be joined by Nate Atkins from the Indianapolis Star. He'll be jumping on with us as we go behind enemy lines in a little bit. In the meantime, though, let's continue with this quarterback discussion for a little bit here, because this is a Colts team that, can put pressure on Mac in the backfield, but also can have him holding the ball because guys aren't open because he's looking around there, and Gilmore and the rest of these guys are on the hips of these receivers. This is the type of game where he needs to. We've seen other matchups over the past month that we assumed would be good for Mac to kind of play against the soft defense, but he didn't play in those games. Now it's the Colts. Now it's the Buffalo Bills coming up. These real teams with these real defenses, and I feel like he hasn't really shown that he's up for this.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if the offense is at all.
It's the whole process. It's up front that the changes on the offensive line are new things to deal with. You got to respect the Indy's offensive or defensive front. They're a bunch of guys that we saw last year can take him out of his comfort zone. So another big challenge today for Mac.
All right, let's go ahead and get behind enemy lines with Nate Atkins.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah?
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
All right, we go behind enemy lines right now. Actually, the enemy's behind our lines. That would be nasty Nate Atkins, who joins us right here from the Indianapolis Star. Nate, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me. I like the nasty Nate entrance.
Of course.
I get that a lot.
Do you have an intro song that you'd like played?
I'm working on that. I'm not a big enough star yet.
All right. Well, that's the next thing. Nate, this Indianapolis Colts team, we were just talking about this, a little bit of upheaval going on right now. How's the sort of reaction been among the fan base and everybody else to not just the change of quarterback, but an offensive coordinator and sort of everything else that's going on? It seems like it's been a little chaotic.
It is a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Just I think back, I got here mid-season last year, so right before the Colts played the Patriots, and they managed to beat the Bills, the Patriots, the Cardinals, get to 9-6, and it's amazing to see where they've come since then. And you just see it reflected in the fans. They've never really enjoyed this team because this city's so used to offense, and this team's averaging 16 points a game. They've crossed 20 points once in the last 10 games, so it's not been very popular here. And so some of these changes, benching Matt Ryan for Sam Ellinger and firing the offensive coordinator, to fans, they kind of wonder what that really fixes at the end of the day. I mean, the issues for this team ever since late last year has been really offensive line related. It started there. It's led to injuries for quarterback and running back. So it's very tough. It's been a tough team to figure out too, because that's the hardest part of the team to fully diagnose. And but it's just not been working so far, and people are kind of frustrated.
So it's interesting. I was going to ask, was it more the play calling that's causing the offensive struggles, or is it the personnel? But then you touched on a little bit with it being highlighted by the offensive line issues.
Yeah, the play caller actually is Frank Reich. So what's interesting, that was interesting. They fired an offense coordinator who wasn't calling the plays, but he was
doing something.
So that's come off in a weird way to fans. But yeah, it's just they don't know where to go next. They don't know what to do when they can't get blocking, and so they're trying so much. So benching Matt Ryan for Sam Ellinger was really about getting a more mobile quarterback in there, a guy that can do some things outside of the pocket because there's no pocket. And so really it's been offensive line related. This is the highest paid offensive line in football. All 5 guys have been healthy every single game this year, but they've had, I think, 6 different combinations now up there. They're trying everything, and they're just not getting a lot of success. I will say it's been a little better the past couple weeks, but we're talking about going from basically last in the league to maybe something you can do a little bit with, but it's far from being fixed.
Do you have a sense of where the veterans are on this team? I mean, I just wonder, when teams go through this, they get into a game like this, maybe they get behind. Where's the compete level? How much fight do these guys have left? Do they see the writing on the wall that this organization is maybe going a different direction? I look to the leaders then of obviously Leonard on the defense, but just across the board, do you think those guys are still kind of holding kind of circling the wagon, so to speak, or do you wonder which way it's going to go here?
What's interesting is it's very split offense and defense right now, partly because the defense is playing well, but also, I mean, like the leaders on the offense that are left since they benched Matt Ryan are on the offensive line, and those guys are just not playing at the levels that anyone is used to. So on defense, you have guys like DeForest Buckner and Stephon Gilmore, who are just such high-level professionals, and they've said all the right things, and they're keeping this together. It helps that they're, as bad as it has felt on the inside, they're 3-4-1 in a vulnerable division. So they've been able to stay the course enough so far to believe we are right there mathematically in this if we can get it together. But the more that this goes and the more that changes happen, there's definitely been some questioning and some internal conflict, which kind of led to a player getting traded, Nyheim Hines, to the Bills this week. That wasn't like a big controversy, but that was a player that was a very respected leader in that team that just eventually decided I would like to go somewhere else and kind of get out of this, and that always creates a little bit of a ripple effect.
I was just going to mention what you touched on right there about the division. I mean, as bad as things look, it's not Houston and it's not Jacksonville even. And I know that 3-4-1, you're not exactly in the driver's seat for a wild card berth, but you could be. You know, a couple of games here and there. I mean, there's reason to believe that this team could sort of back their way into a playoff spot. Is that something that you find realistic?
What's interesting is they have a track record of starting slow and finishing strong. Last year they were 0-3 and they got to 9-6 and then finished 9-8. Frank Reich's first year in 2018 they started 1-5 and they lost last time they came here, and that team finished 10-6 and won a playoff game. So they tend to do this. The difference though is that was every time they've done that, they start slow because they have a new quarterback and they build with that guy and it gets better. So to bench that quarterback in the middle of the year for a day 3 pick has. I don't see a great path for them because, again, they have an offensive line that has just been problematic every game. It's hard, and I just don't know that changing the quarterback really gets them anywhere there. So if somehow that offensive line, which is mostly healthy and is finally getting a little bit of continuity of playing the same spots, if they actually got back to even an average level, I could see there being some sort of path because they do still have a very good defense. But right now, between the offensive line issues, the quarterback change, Jonathan Taylor is out and is dealing with a lot of injuries. It's just kind of hard to see the formula they've used in the past being relevant this year.
So obviously mobile quarterback and also, strong running game are two things that the Patriots defense really struggles with. But with Jonathan Taylor out, do you think that there's still a chance that the Colts can get their running game going against the Patriots defense?
I think there's a chance because of what you mentioned. A couple of weeks ago, I know Justin Fields and his mobility gave a lot of issues to the Patriots. What's a little different there is Sam Ehlinger is a good athlete. He's not Justin Fields' 4.3 athlete, so it's not quite the same thing. They did do a lot of – Sam just started last week for the first time, and they did a lot of different things on offense. They did they did shotgun zone read and read option games. They did some quarterback sweeps. It didn't really work last week, but they're trying to get better at that. So they've diversified that, and Jonathan Taylor did start to look like Jonathan Taylor. The problem is he got hurt again, so now they're down to Deion Jackson. And again, it'll help them a little bit to have the mobile quarterback, but it really is on the offensive line because Deion Jackson's actually a very fast player, and he's come a long way as a pro, but he's not going to create holes that aren't there. So really it comes down to them getting first-level blocks. I know the Patriots have struggled once guys get to the second level, breaking it further. He has the speed to do that, but they have to get something going a little bit on the offensive line to give him a chance.
Just defensively, what do you expect from the Colts? Patriots got some offensive line issues. You mentioned Buckner. I mean, he's a big problem. It seems like they're kind of coming into their own a little bit, but what would you kind of expect to see from them today?
Yeah, it's a pretty good defense. It's different than the past few years. They've thrived on turnovers, and that really helped them in this matchup a year ago. They got a couple turnovers. Shaquille Leonard picked off Mac Jones was a big moment in that game, and they haven't gotten them this year partly because Shaquille Leonard is not healthy. He's not playing a whole lot. He'll play today, but he just hasn't looked like himself at all. But really the strength of this defense is DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart in the middle of that line. They are just incredible right now. I don't know why teams keep running up the middle on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It never works against this team. So if that's one tip I can offer, just do not run up the middle on those situations. So if they get Kwity payback on the defensive line. So that's really the strength is that front four. And they do have Stephon Gilmore is playing at a Pro Bowl level like you guys saw for a few years. He's really the reason they've won a couple of games. They beat the Chiefs and the Broncos when he forced turnovers very late in those games. So if they can, their model is stop the run, force teams to throw, and if they can get teams to play in desperate situations, they could be a really good defense. Again, usually they're not in that spot because their offense isn't scoring enough to. They fall behind. Teams get conservative. But if they can get the Patriots to sort of have to push it and really push it into the half or go some kind of tempo offense, that's when they're at their best with Stephon Gilmore kind of waiting back there in coverage and DeForest Buckner and all those guys up front kind of wreaking some havoc.
All right, this is Nate Atkins, Indianapolis Star. You can find him on Twitter at Nate Atkins as he comes behind enemy line. Is there any juice left, by the way, in the Colts-Patriots rivalry in Indy? I know you probably came and talked about this last year, but I wasn't here, so I don't know. Is that still like a thing even? Does anyone care about that?
It is a thing. That was one of the first games I was back for last year.
The Ehlinger, Mac Jones match, I just feel like there's not as much juice there,
Not this specific game. I think fans would enjoy if they won today.
Right.
But yeah, no, last year it's much different than last year when both teams were fighting for the playoffs. It was Sunday Night Football. That was a huge moment for this city. They just loved winning that game. But this matchup, And this team does not quite have the same vigor to it.
Not quite there at the level. All right. Well, Nate, great job. Thanks for coming down, and we certainly appreciate the time.
Wait, before he goes, he has to give his prediction.
Oh, my God. I always forget this. What do you got?
Okay. I'm going with the Patriots today. I have a hard time seeing the Colts go on the road and win without Jonathan Taylor. I think that was the main sole reason they won last year. They had in a healthy Shaquille Leonard. Shaquille's not healthy. Jonathan Taylor's not out there. So I would be surprised if they went out and won this one today. But maybe they'll have a chance because I do think it'll be low scoring.
Yeah. How low scoring? Let me get a score.
That's what I need the score.
Okay, I'll go Patriots 17-10.
17-10. Sounds like a snooze fest. All right, thanks, Nate. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, that is Nate Atkins of the Indianapolis Star, again on Twitter at Nate Atkins. If you want to check out his stuff, he sees the Patriots winning a low-scoring bout, 17-10, which I'll be honest with you, I don't think is a crazy prediction at all. I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing here.
I think that's in line, depending on the mistakes. I think that's what's going to play a big part in this game is the mistakes. And I mean, as Nate mentioned, the Colts aren't taking it away a ton. And I think this Patriots team, we know what happens when they take the ball away, when they give the ball away, what kind of games those end up being for them. So ball security, as always, very important.
I think it's going to be very interesting considering both offensive lines are bad or struggling, and also both teams are having issues in the red zone. So it would be interesting if it's one of those games
it's called a rock fight tomorrow.
It's going to be interesting if it's one of those, those awful Thursday night games where the score is like 0-0 going into the third, and you're like, what are we watching?
See, I'm not going to give away my score prediction, but I have a feeling this is going to be the classic of the last couple years Patriots script game where they come out, there might be like a Colts turnover, they get an easy score, and all of a sudden it's just rolling. And that's what I feel like today is it's going to be shutdown city for the Patriots defense. But I'll get to that in the preview. I don't want to.
Whichever team wins is going to carry their kicker and punter off the shoulders.
We do that every week here. Nick Folk, come on.
It's true.
Nick Folk's going to be player of the week again. It's going to be great.
Nick Folk's going to have one of the like Cleopatra used to get carried out. They're just going to bring him in and out on one of those. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots, and Bridgestone tires are now on sale through December 10th at all Sullivan Tire locations. Visit sullivantire.com for a location near you. Quick break. When we come back, we'll get to your phone calls at 855-PATS-500, and we'll do our over-unders as well. That's coming up next here on Patriots Pregame.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Mike, now we get a chance to see
I
you.
know.
And if you're not feeling well, why on earth are you sitting out in the bowl at Gillette Stadium?
Yeah.
I mean,
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcan.
All right, we're back here. It's Patriots Pregame, presented by Dunkin, fueled by Dunkin. And hey, Patriots fans, it's always game on with Dunkin, which is why grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual, because the best call for football is Dunkin, the official coffee of the New England Patriots. America runs on Dunkin. We're running on Dunkin. Actual donuts, not even the coffee. Where you are, Tamara's got the coffee over there.
Coffee noise going.
It's that's what's happening in this room right now, as usual. We got phone calls to get to at 855-PATS-500. Is any follow-up we have on anything Nate Atkins had to say?
I was just going to make one little follow-up.
Yes.
Kwity Paye, he mentioned, is going to play, and a guy from Rhode Island, his mom's going to be at the game. First time he's seen him play today. Just a little human interest story there for the people, so, always nice when a mom
that's
gets
nice,
to come
too.
to
She's
the
good
game.
with that.
I've got some more human interest stuff. It's basically Tamara interest stuff. But the best thing ever happened this week, guys. Look who I met.
Who is it?
I can't see.
I can't see.
Oh,
is that Mariska Hargitay?
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody knows.
That's a big moment for
Christian,
you.
okay, so you were aware of the Law and Order.
We just
I was just made aware of it, yeah.
I
Okay.
literally almost died. I texted my mom. Well, first, my sister texted me. She was like, Mariska's outside. Olivia, Law and Order. Like, she wasn't making any sense. I'm like, what? She's like, she's outside, silver dress. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I texted my mom. I was like, send an ambulance to my location. Like, I don't think I'm going to make it. Like,
Did she sign something for you?
no, but this picture is just
All right.
worth 1,000 words.
Where was it?
This was at Glamour Woman of the Year event.
You won it?
I did not win. I was just there.
Were you nominated?
I was just there, so I wouldn't get fined.
So why were you not? I'm just there so not get
I was just
fined.
there. But she was so nice and just everything I thought she would be. You know when you meet famous people,
You got to get Chris Maloney
they're not that
now.
great.
Oh, I've had
She was
had
great.
good and bad famous people, good and bad ones, but
Yeah.
No, Hollywood over here. I mean, yeah.
She was great, and I'm just it feels unreal. I'm obsessed.
That was Law and Order. That was a Law and Order moment with Tamara.
That is a big moment, and congratulations.
Tamara interest story is done.
All right, the Patriots are taking on the Indianapolis Colts in about just under 2 hours now here at Gillette Stadium. You guys want to talk about it, so let's get to your phone calls at 855-PATS-500. We'll begin with John, who it looks like is right in the parking lot outside. What's up, John?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, John. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I just think what the Patriots are about to do to the Colts is going to be an episode of SVU coming up.
Ice-T's going to be investigating it?
Literally.
Yeah, I like it. All right, thanks, John. Let's try Floyd, who is in Michigan. Hello, Floyd.
Oh, Floyd.
Hey,
Floyd!
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Floyd.
Morning.
I have a question about Mac Jones, but so there used to be a cartoon I used to watch, and it was called Captain of the Planet. It was Captain Planet.
Captain of the Planet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Captain Planet.
Yeah, I remember Captain Planet.
It was an environmental show.
Right.
But you had these 5 kids with these superpowers. One was like wind, and you could see and then the fire, and
The rings had the superpowers.
Yeah.
And then there was one kid who punched the ground, and the earth opened up. He was the earth. Then there was this 5th kid, and he yelled out "Heart," and you're like, wait, what? Matt Jones reminds me of that kid. When I look at all the other quarterbacks drafted, you can see Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. You can see the arm and the talent. And you got guys like Evan Lazar saying, be patient, he needs a 3rd year, Fear Perry. And I'm trying to figure out, well, what is Matt Jones's trait? What is he special at? What is he good at? What are we waiting for? What do you see from Matt Jones that makes you say, That's the guy. That's what we should wait for him. That's my question.
Because he's a hero and he's going to take pollution down to zero. That's why, just like Captain Planet did.
I feel like I'm unprepared to answer this question because I'd never heard of this cartoon.
Never heard of Captain Planet? He's a hero. He's going to take pollution down to zero.
I think I'm too old.
No,
it's a cartoon.
Who was the guy?
Well,
it was the lamest.
I'm not
cartoon.
above cartoons, guy. I just don't know this
It was the
one.
lamest cartoon there was. It was right like after Voltron and like all the cool ones sort of died
Voltron.
off.
Yeah,
then they tried to force this environmental save the planet superhero on us. And I was just sort of aging out of that anyway. But that was it.
Grandpa will be over in the corner while you guys finish this conversation.
So what did he say? Max, the guy who just yells heart? Was that? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I forget which one was
guys
the
and
one
they
who
got to
did that.
combine their powers to get Captain Planet.
Exactly.
I know. I mean, I get what Floyd's asking though, and
I didn't.
You know, I mean, he's asking what's the standout trait? What makes Mac Jones a starting quarterback and a potential impact starting quarterback for the Patriots? And I mean, I would have to point more to last year of what we saw initially out of the gate from him, which was just comfort in the pocket. I would say haven't seen as much of that this year. I think he's been a little bit thrown off, but. Probably easier question to answer last year when we were in the season as a rookie than we are now where, he's been injured and there's been a new offense and it's been, herky-jerky. There hasn't been really anything to kind of grasp onto this season with Mac Jones. And I think that's why it's such a hot button topic and everybody wants to talk about, can he, get to that next step? Can he even just, get back to a game where he doesn't throw an interception and, maybe has a really couple nice touchdown tosses? Like the good things outweigh the negatives. You haven't really seen that yet this year, and I get where Floyd's coming from, wondering at this point, are we kind of at a crossroads with him?
I would say I'd like to see Mac Jones have one game this year that was as good as Bailey Zappi's game against Cleveland. Like, is that asking too much?
We just don't make any mistakes.
You
just
like
kind of
Zappe,
deliver the ball, and
that was the best
get out
quarterback game that any quarterbacks had this year.
Yeah,
that game? That was Zappi's game against Cleveland. Can Mac do that? Can he do that once? Like, is that asking too much that he plays as well as his backup?
I'm asking for a lot more than that.
I mean,
I'm asking for a game that he plays extremely well under adverse conditions.
Yeah.
Like I know he can do the Bailey Zappi game against Cleveland. He did that 7 times last year. Like I know he can do that. I want to see him face some adversity and fight through and make those kinds of plays and maybe lead the team from behind. Now, I don't necessarily want to see that today because I don't think this is a team that they should be falling behind and having to chase multiple scores. I think something went wrong if that's happening. But that's, that's what I'm looking to see. And the further development of Mac Jones I'd like to see can lead the team from behind, can do it without the running game leading the way, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Last year in that Colts game, it was one of several games where I thought they got really burned on special teams. The Patriots did.
They were terrible that day.
They were really, really bad that day, and it was something that kind of followed them through the rest of that end of the season, that last month of the season. What are your guys' impressions special teams-wise so far this year? Because that could come up today.
Still pretty bad.
Still bad, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think Jake
last
Bailey,
game was,
but I don't think Nick
other
Folk's
than the
been
kickers,
bad.
yeah, I would say last game was better.
Last game was excellent.
Yeah.
I agree with
some
Samara.
mistakes by the team recovering the ball. I mean, you could have had a nice punt recovery inside the 5 there, kind of like. And I
but
know
even that I thought was a good punt and a good play
Yep.
and kind of unfortunate. And I'm not even sure that the refs got it right, to be honest with you. I think they may have down that at the 6. But my feeling is I'd be stunned if they have a bad special teams game today because that's all that you heard from like the Matthew Slaters of the world was how bad they were on special teams against the Colts and Ray Ventrone last year.
But I mean, I have to highlight Nick Folk and take him out of this conversation. But I mean, I think over the previous few years, especially like 19, 20, they won a lot of games because of special teams. And I don't feel like the last couple of years, like they've either survived their special teams, notwithstanding Nick Folk. I mean, I don't want to include him in this kind of topic, but I just
sort
don't
of
think
eliminate
they're not making the same kind of
kickers.
In the pump blocks, in big returns, like those things that they got a couple years ago that were really a key part of them overcoming the transition from Tom Brady through Cam Newton to Mac Jones. Like you needed to lean on the special teams, and they were making positive game-changing plays. And now it's like they're either okay or they're making some mistakes, especially last year with like you mentioned, especially with against the Colts with the block punts and those things going on. So would love to see them start, with Marcus Jones maybe getting some plus punt return yardage, even in the kickoff return, seeing a little bit more out of him, seeing those things start to help things a little bit more rather than just kind of being a passenger.
I feel like this is a game where you could potentially see some trickery on special teams just because with both offenses potentially struggling so much, especially in the red zone. I mean, this could be a game where you do see another onside kick or you might see a fake on 4th down. That hopefully.
I'd like to see that Colts fake from what 2014.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the greatest.
I feel
Bust
like
that one out again.
This could be one of those games, and hopefully the Patriots are ready for it, like Peppers was.
I want to see Nick Folk run like 30 yards. I just want to see what that would look like.
Oh, there'd be a lot of muscles getting pulled, like 38 years old.
Is he really 38?
Waving by as he runs
the
past
coverage, you're looking at the coverage, you're looking at the returns.
Yeah.
And when you get kicks blocked like they did last year, like that's part of it.
Yeah.
They need to be more consistent. I did think last week was a good step in that regard. We talked about a couple like under the radar kind of things. Stopping a pair of kickoffs inside the 20-yard line. That's a big field position thing for an offense that's not very good with the Jets. Same kind of thing this week. You don't want to let an Indy offense get out, around the 30 on a kickoff return. Back them up inside the 25 and make them go the long route, and I'm not sure they'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the phones. What do you say? 855-PATS-500. That is the phone number. A lot of you waiting patiently want to jump on and get your thoughts out there, including Patty, who is over in Agawam. Hello, Patty.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, Patty.
So I'm got a question for y'all, but before I get into that, I'm kind of with you. I see a lower scoring game, maybe a little bit higher than what you predicted, maybe somewhere like in the 2016, 2017 range. But after week 1, we saw Billy Yates come down be on the sideline for the entire game, where in week 1, the first half he was up in the booth and then came down for the second half. Do you guys know, because I don't know, has he been on the sideline since then? Or because to me, with David Andrews out and some missing pieces and not a lot of depth, I mean, it would make more sense to have your assistant coach, so Matt Patricia could focus more on running the offense.
Fair enough. Certainly, Patty. Thanks for the call. I'm actually looking at a video right now of Billy Yates talking with Isaiah Wynn and Yadni Kajust, who with Marcus Cannon out are probably your two right tackles if they're going to rotate him or if Wynn's going to get the start. I don't know who's going to start. Yeah. But, how hands-on has he been, Paul?
I think he's down on the field. I haven't seen him. We don't go to the road games, so I'm not, taking inventory of of all the coaches, but I think he's been on the field, right?
I think so. I don't see why they would have changed it, but hard to tell, especially with road games. But I'll keep an eye on it for today.
Yeah, and in terms of this sounds silly, but like is David Andrews, will he be on the bench today? Because he was really active in the preseason, helping some of the younger offensive linemen as a coach type player to the point where Bill sort of scoffed at him. Well, he is a captain. He's a captain for 5 years now. So
concussed. I don't know.
That's kind of what I'm wondering about. Will he be able to do that? Because I think that would be a valuable help to Matt Patricia and Billy Yates to have David Andrews there to help out. The guys that are playing, and even like Cole Strange, who's played now 8 games, but used to being next to David Andrews, and now sort of getting used to James Ferentz.
All right, let's
go.
go.
You like the Bill
I love
impersonation?
That was good. You close your eyes, it's like he's right here. Let's go to Kyle, who is out in Colorado. Kyle, where in Colorado are you, if I may ask?
Just
South Park,
west of Pueblo.
West of Pueblo. Oh, down on the western slope there.
Oh, yeah, that's what everybody was thinking.
Very good. All right, what's up?
I'm lonely down here being a Pats fan.
I'm
Thank
sure.
God for once they suck, so now I get all the Patriots apparel down here.
What's going on?
Real quick question for you guys and gal. If we totally smash down on the Colts today, is this something with the division getting a little bit tighter between the Dolphins and the Jets? Is this something we can make a run for a wild card spot at with the remaining of our schedule, or is this just kind of waiting water at this point in time?
They can definitely
win this one.
They can definitely make a run for a wild card, but I'm not just penciling in losses for the other teams.
No.
A win today doesn't necessarily get you any closer to Miami.
Yeah.
No,
probably get you closer to the Jets because the Jets are playing Buffalo. But
nothing against the Colts, but as far as what's lining up for the next few weeks, this is about as easy as it's going to get.
You have to win this game, and you have to win the next one.
I think that next Jets game is going to be every bit a grind like the last one was, and and then we're getting into the Buffaloes, the Minnesotas. Good teams that are definitely locked in on the playoffs. So I think today is a got to win, and I think this could be one of those points in the season where, all right, we got to 5-4, we got a bye week, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves, but I think the real season starts in 2 weeks against the Jets. That's when you really start to lock in, I think, on all this stuff.
I love Zach Wilson's reaction after the game. He's like, well, we'll see him again in 2 weeks. It's like, what, are you going to throw 5 picks in that game? Like, what are you acting tough now? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Let me tell you what. Let me show you what I did wrong.
Yeah,
do a little Dirk Diggler.
Do one of those. No question about it. All right, let's try Moises, who is in Connecticut. Moises, hi.
Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing?
Hey, good morning. Hi. I'm well. Thank you.
Tamir, how's it going, my Patriots sister? You know what? The Patriots need to score more touchdowns this week instead of last week against the New York Jets.
Yep.
I agree. I'm tired of the field goals. I don't want to see 5 field goals today.
Because I've been a diehard Patriot fan since our first Super Bowl loss to the '85 Bears.
Yeah, I'm in the spot where I need to see like a Hunter Henry touchdown cooked up today, maybe a Jonnu Smith, maybe. I mean, anything, anything but
Jonnu Smith. Come on.
I mean, anything but 5 field goals. I mean, give it to Ramondre. I mean, I feel like there has to be something in the playbook where they can feel comfortable with Mac in the red zone to be able to throw a touchdown pass. There's got to be something.
Jacoby, maybe.
Or Jacoby.
I mean, have Jacoby throw it.
Oh, remember that.
Hey, speaking of Jacoby and the wide receivers, I didn't know this until today, but the Patriots were in on Chase Claypool, which I thought was interesting because I feel like they have like 4 Chase Claypool types already.
I
missed that
in the room right now.
Florio
had it. Florio said that they were in, and so was, I forget, there was another team who was in too, but they went with
Terry Bradshaw still dead.
They were going by who would give them the best pick, and so I guess I don't know if the Patriots offered a second or what they did.
I don't get it.
I would not have gone in on Chase. I love Chase Claypool. I mean, Notre Dame guy, but I would not have gone in on that.
My guess is so.
It made no sense.
What did he say they were willing to give up?
I don't know exactly what he said they were willing to give up, just that they were in on him, and he went for a second-round pick, so I'd imagine it was something close to that if he's writing about it, right?
I don't.
Well, plus a receiver, I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to offload one of the receivers. I don't know. On the surface, that one wouldn't have made a lot of sense to me. I like Claypool as a player.
Neither.
But he's kind of always been a handful.
Yeah. What about
Florio says that the Patriots were in up until the end. I have reason to believe the Patriots were in until the very end.
So they were close on somebody.
They were.
Not according to Bill. I don't know. It was close.
Yeah, they would have had to move. So that room's too crowded as it is.
I won't overuse it. I don't want to.
I'm crying, Paul. This is great.
Let's try Colin.
I missed that though. The Florio. I missed that Florio report.
I don't get it. I don't get that.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, me neither.
Well, he likes him. Bill was gushing about him in that Pittsburgh week, right? Going on about big and his catch radius and all that
stuff. It's hard to tell, though, when he's gushing about real things and he's gushing about things he wants you to think he's gushing about.
True.
So
that's true.
I don't know.
All right, before we get to our overs and our unders, let's take one more call. Here's Colin in Seattle, Washington. Hi, Colin.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey, so I was just wondering. I know with the Parker injury, in previous games where Myers was out, we went to him early on with like the underneath crosses. I know you guys were talking about it on PU earlier in the week. Would you guys look to see if you can get Thornton involved in Parker's spot early on just to get the offense going this week?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's perfect. Put him on the outside.
Sure.
Let him run goes and comebacks and, maybe those little slants that they throw to Parker a ton. But keep him on the outside of the formation and just try to get his speed. Try to give the rest of the NFL something to think about maybe once or twice. Just take a shot to him. I mean, that's probably, Tamara thing, kind of dialing up something. But I don't think there's any question anybody who is in on this team doesn't want Tyquan Thornton to, have a few big plays and, start to build some momentum and some good feelings about going forward and going into next year about what, he might potentially be able to do.
All right. Well, then without any further ado, why don't we get to our overs and our unders?
It's time for this week's edition of Over Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
All right, we'll begin with how we went last week. Mike, you were 2-4, which brings your season total to 23-25, which is on the rebound.
Not great.
Paul, 5-1 on the over-unders
wow.
last week. Not bad. You're up to 26-22. Hardy was 3-3. He's where you are, Mike, at 23-25. I was 3-3, holding steady at 6-6, and Tamara 3-3 as well last week. So here's our first over-under.
Hold on 1 second, real quick.
Yes.
Because the Colts have announced they're inactive. Zach Moss will be inactive. So this is really
another blow to the running game.
It's really shaping up as one of those games that you really need to shut this team down.
Yeah.
They have nothing going offensively.
Yeah, they really don't. Wow, that's that's a lot of guys out there. All right, so here's our first over-under, and it is Mac Jones rushing yards. Mac Jones rushing yards. The over-under is 12.5 rushing yards.
I love it. I'm going to take the over. I think Mac's going to have at least a few of those scrambles. Nobody's open. Tuck it and run, Mac. Give me the over.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over too, but I'm going to say this. I hope it goes under. I think it's a bad sign if it goes over. I would like to see him more conventionally moving the ball.
Yeah.
But I think Mike is right.
That's fair.
I'm going to take the over.
I agree. I think it's going to be over, even though when he does a lot of that scrambling, it makes me cringe because I'm just so scared that he's going to get hurt again. But, and especially with the offensive line issues, I could definitely see him running a lot more than we want him to.
Okay, Hardy is also taking the over, which means I'm going to take the under because that's the way I've been doing these.
Play it.
I am contrarianing these things.
Sounds like a Fred thing to do.
Yeah, you know,
under.
I'm sorry. I can't go with the crowd on this one. Let's see. Jacoby Myers, the number of receptions that he has in this game, that number is 5.5. Over or under?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to ride the hot hand. I think that he looks like the guy that Mac Jones looks to the most. So I'm going to expect that to continue. You don't think Stephon Gilmore would take Jacoby Myers all game, do you?
No, third downs maybe, but
yeah. So I'm going to take the over.
Over on 5.5. Deuce?
Yeah, I like it. I love Jacoby. I'll take the over.
Okay.
Over.
Over for Tamara. Hardy is going under. And I think I'm going to go over too, just because I think he's going to get fed a lot. Max sort of zeroed in on him. And,
that's my feeling.
Yeah. That's kind of where it looks, and it's not even necessarily that he's always open or that he's even the right guy in the right play each time. It's just that's where Mac's looking. So I'm going to go over that too. I know he's going to get more targets than that, and he's usually pretty sure-handed. So I think that's a safe one. All right, let's go with the first touchdown yards. Either team, the over/under of yards it takes to score the first touchdown is 8.5.
Tamara, you want to take this one first?
I'm going to say under.
Under for Tamara. All right. Anybody else?
Deuce?
I'm going to go under, too. I feel like it's going to be a grind. Not a lot of big plays.
I
think it's like a 2-yard,
I was gonna say a 1
up
yard.
the middle, and he gets 2.1 yards. So I'm going to go under, too.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'll take the under.
All right. Hardy is also taking the under, which means I'm going over, baby. Give me a nice
play.
bomb down the sideline. That's what
Just
I'm
because
looking
we
for.
said that, it's going to be
Positive.
another one of those 3rd down and 10 Ramondre touchdowns.
Yeah.
Let's take a
nice
quick
rumble into the end zone.
Quick pause here. Inactives: David Andrews, Devontae Parker, obviously. Christian Barmore, Damian Harris, Kevin Harris, Joshua Bledsoe, Sean Wade, and Sam Roberts.
So Barmore, was back
Another
in
one for
practice
him,
this
yeah.
week, but another missed game for him. Kevin Harris, a little interesting. You've got, J.J. Taylor getting promoted, so J.J. Taylor going to be active. Pierre Strong, so you'll have those guys behind Ramondre.
Yeah, and Strong was dealing with the hamstring, but he's up. And also you get Kyle Duggar back.
Yep.
So,
Doug.
Definitely good to have Duggar back.
Always.
Should we be worried about Barmore at this point?
Yeah, at this point, I feel like just get him, 2 weeks to rest now, and hopefully he'll be back after the bye. But I think it's a big blow not having him. He's an active, disruptive handful for a lot of teams to deal with, and not having him is it hurts.
Sure. With Damian Harris out after that breakout performance from Stevenson, I think there's a great chance for him to continue that. Obviously, they're going to have to lean on him, and he was really one of the only things that was working in the offense last week. I know they won the game, but without him and Myers, really, that offense was struggling.
Yeah, what are they going to do if they can't get Ramondre going? If he can't get it going today, it's.
Well, I would say, what are they going to do with the offense if they don't get the turnovers? Because I think you saw the offense without anything going last week.
Yeah. And even with the
and
turnovers,
you win the game because you force the force the turnovers, take advantage of the turnovers, whatever how you want to refer to it. That would be my concern: is what happens when the other team is not giving it away. Because we talk a lot about protecting the ball. 16 turnovers, 16 takeaways. It's like Nuke LaLoosh. Also new league record. They lead the league in everything.
Yeah. Good point. All right, well, there you go. There's your inactives for the Patriots and the Colts. Let's continue with our over-unders. How about first half total points for the Patriots? The over-under there is 10.5 points. Can they give you a 10 spot in the first half? Or go over that?
I'm going to go over on this one.
Wow.
I think they
Dude,
get
feeling bullish.
I think they get a good start and get up over 10 by halftime. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over, too. I do think this is going to be one of those games. The other team's going to make mistakes. You're going to get set up, and I think it's going to be maybe a little easier to win this game than I had sort of originally forecasted.
Tamara. She's agonizing
I don't
over
like
this one.
I don't like this at all, so I'm going to go under.
Under. I'm with you. I'm going under, too. I think it's going to be like 3-0 at the half of this game. I think it's going to be one of those type of games.
What's Hardy got?
Hardy is the over. Hardy picked the over on this one. So, yeah. Pretty even there. I think that's probably our most diverse smattering of answers so far. All right, let's go with Sam Ehlinger and his passing yard. Is it Ehlinger or Ehlinger, by the way?
I've heard it both ways, but I think it's Gurr.
Gurr? All right, let's go with Gurr.
Gif.
Sam Ehlinger.
Gif.
Passing yards. The over-under is 202.5 yards with the hook. What do you guys think there?
Is this me?
I guess.
Sure.
I will take the under.
Under.
I think if the Patriots get the lead and he has to throw, it could be a long day for young Sam. Under.
Samwise. Yeah, I'm under 2 on that one.
Under.
I think it's going to be a tough grind for Samwise and Frodo up the mountain.
All right.
No one knows what you're talking about except for Morrell. So
he's fist pumping in there. He's so excited.
Tamara, you also said under.
Mhm.
Hardy said under. I guess I'm going to have to go over just to stick with my dumb contrarian thing that I'm doing. And finally, the total score, over-under of the total score is 39.5. Awfully, awfully low. We already had Nate Atkins come in here and say he thinks it's going to be a 17-10 type of game, so we know he's got the under. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm so under on this
Under.
one. So under.
Never been more under.
I've never been.
All right.
yeah, I'm going to take the under as well.
Under.
You have to go under with
I
us
do
on
have to
this.
go under
You
because
literally
I've been
have to.
talking all this crap
There's
about how no one's
way.
going to score.
There's no way.
See, I'm painting myself into a corner here.
What's
I can't
Hardy have?
contrary in this one. He's under.
Like
I got to go under.
The only way this goes over is if Sam comes out and plays like Sam Darnold and throws like 5 picks.
If I have the over-under of the first half for the Patriots under 10.5, then how could I possibly go over here? Unless I think both teams just go nuts in the second half. Could that happen?
Maybe.
Could it? I'm trying my best. I'm reaching deep down to try and be an a-hole here.
Considering,
but I don't think I can do it.
both of these teams have better defenses than offenses, I just no.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you guys. All right, there we go. The over/unders in the books here on this Sunday, the 6th of November.
Glorious
Week 9
Sunday. Beautiful.
against the Colts.
Beautiful weather.
Cannot believe it out there.
We should have done the show outside, maybe up
We
on the
should.
ramps.
That would
be
have been
legal, you know?
way better.
Mingle
Way
with the
better.
fans.
It's beautiful outside.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know what month it is.
This is my type of weather.
It's like kind of humid.
This is my
November.
type
It's
of
weird.
weather.
Yeah, certainly. All right, there you go. The phone number, again, is 855-PATS-500 if you'd like to jump in and join the conversation. If you would like to email, you can do so at webradio@patriots.com. We gave you the inactives there in the middle of the over and the unders. We got the Patriots and the Colts, and who they have out for the Colts. Their running game really decimated, I would say. And for the Patriots, the only real surprises I saw in there, I don't know if Harris was even a surprise. I'd say probably not. Barmore a little bit, just because he practiced this week. But other than that, I think you got, pretty regular thing. Is Shaun Wade ever going to play, by the way? We ever going to see Shaun Wade play?
It doesn't seem like he. He's clearly behind Jack Jones right now, who had an illness this week, so he's able to push through that. So, I would just say generally, I like seeing young guys get chances, and I'd love to see. Pierre Strong get some chance today. I'd love to see, Jack Jones continuing to build. Like, anytime those rookies can get out there, Marcus Jones continue to build and progress as players, I think it's a good thing. And, you get to the bye week next week, maybe you're going to reevaluate things a little bit, figure out, where you could maybe make some changes. But just the more the young guys play, the better. But, yeah, I agree. Shaun Wade's kind of been, just a depth piece. Not really part of any of the cornerback conversation here.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there. All right, again, the number 855-PATS-500. You can check in at webradio@patriots.com. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I want to let you know that Dom's is now the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Dominate the grill this season with a tailgate box subscription. Visit domsausage.com. Choose your plan and get curated boxes filled with our quality meats delivered to your doorstep, ready to grill for the game. You will be the MVP of the tailgate season if you call Dom's. All right, quick break. We'll be right back here on Patriots Pregame.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Little song, little dance, little seltzer down the pants. That's, again, the shoes. Just humongous. Like the size of clown shoes.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcand.
Okay, we're back here. This is Patriots Pregame, fueled by Dunkin, as we get our fuel here and get ready for kickoff. Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. Patriots coming off of a win over the Jets last week, as they now have a chance this week to pass them in the standings, potentially. That's something that one of the callers asked about. Can the standings get a little bit tighter here? And they certainly can. A Patriots win and a likely Jets loss. They're playing Buffalo, I think, in Buffalo, right? Is that
that gets them up to third place.
That could get them to third place, which
or tied for second if Miami loses too.
That's a good point.
But they would technically still be in third. But
the Dolphins are on the road against the Bears, I think.
Correct.
Who I would imagine I'd take Miami in that game if I was a betting man. But the Jets. I mean, that's a real opportunity there.
We got, still got an hour to go here in the show, and I think we all have kind of talked about the Colts a little bit and the limited offense. Step back. Who are you rooting for? Jets? Bills? You're a Patriots fan. I'm assuming.
I get what you're going at, and I would say the Jets, but I feel like it's a hopeless cause. I think the Jets will probably give them a little bit of.
At what point do you start to root for Buffalo just to win those games against the division teams?
I'm there now.
Yeah, like if Buffalo's playing, the Chargers, and you want to root for the Chargers, that might not be a good example. If Buffalo's playing the Bucks or the Packers last week, you're rooting for the Packers. We'll give them a loss. The loss for the team that Buffalo is playing probably helps you more than a Bills loss would help you right now, right?
Yeah.
If they're playing an AFC team.
Yeah, I think.
Are you there yet?
I think I'm there, Paul. I think the ship has sailed for me.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
No.
But I think that's probably the wisest course of action.
I'm there because I never really thought the Patriots were in the Bills' class.
Well, I don't either, but just because I think that doesn't mean I'm right.
Well, I think I'm right. And
well, that just tells me a lot. That tells me a lot about you.
That's right. The Bills, the Bills have allowed the fewest points in the league.
Yeah.
They've allowed under 100 points. Like their point differential is better than Philly's. Like they're just so much better. And I feel like if the Jets beat them, that's nice for the Jets. But that doesn't do anything for me as a Patriots fan.
Right. I think you can make a strong argument that a Jets win today just extends your time in fourth place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to start getting in front of some of the teams that are directly ahead of you in the division. Now, as a bigger picture thing, and I do think there's an element of this, I think people are fixated on, well, the fourth place. Well, so what? Where are they in the conference? In the conference, they're 8th. Right? So all they have to do is get in front of one team, and it doesn't have to be the Jets. Like to get in the playoffs. Like the Chargers could lose today.
Right.
Something like that. And it's way too early to be looking at playoff implications and whatnot. But I think that everybody looks at it and says, well, they're in fourth place. Like they get screwed because they're in a tough division. No, they don't. They have just as much chance as anybody else to make the playoffs as a wild card.
Yeah, I feel like it's just that's like one of those things right now, which is the perfect little button. Like, I mean, they're in fourth place. They're in last place in the league. You get
but
it.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
But
they're 4-4. But like if they're in last place and they're say 6-4, coming out of the bye 2 weeks, and then they're still in fourth place. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like you could be a playoff team. Right now you're 4-4 and you're in last place because you're 4-4. That's not a good record.
And that's why I think just going into this game, throw everything out about the Colts, all the extenuating circumstances around them. Like if you want to be in that conversation as a team that's making a playoff push, like you got to beat this team, especially now that that they're missing all these players, that they're going through a transition. But even before, I mean, these are the kind of teams, Jets last week, teams that are right on that bubble. That if you want to be in that conversation, you got to win these games, and you got to look good doing it too. I think today is going to probably be one of those wins where, but at the same time, love to see just something more to feel good about, not just there it was again. The other team 6 turnovers and their offense couldn't do anything with a second-year quarterback and a whole new running back group. I have a feeling we very well could be having that conversation in the post-game show. I'd love to just say, hey, that was a good defense today, and the Patriots kind of went toe-to-toe with them a little bit and, maybe showed a little something. Be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. You look at the AFC standings right now in the conference. Buffalo's in the class. Kansas City, I think we agree, is in the class.
Yeah.
The Titans are right up there. I don't know how great they are. I don't know how great Baltimore is. And then it's the Jets and the Dolphins, the teams that are, you're nipping at their heels. So you're right. You're right on the.
This is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter where you are in your division. It
Right.
matters what like in the conference. You have a chance to make the playoffs if you can win some games. It's the same in the NFC. Like the East is the same. Like the Commanders are in last place. They're 4-4.
Yeah.
They're in last place because they have a bad record. Like 4-4 is not good. So just because you're in a division that's tough doesn't mean you can't contend for a playoff spot. If the Commanders keep winning, they've won a couple now with Taylor Heineke. If they keep winning, they can. Who's separating themselves in the NFC? Obviously the Eagles and the Cowboys.
In Minnesota.
Minnesota. But where are the Packers? Where are the Bucks? The Falcons. Falcons are 4-4. They're leading the division,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of what we talked about during the week. There's a couple of good teams and there's a lot of. I have no idea how good that team is. One week they look great and one week they stink.
Which should give you a little hope as a Patriots fan. Where I got a lot of respect for Baltimore. I don't know if I quite put them with Buffalo and Kansas City.
I put them a little notch below, but clearly 3.
But those 3.
I agree with you.
And after that, I should say. I got a lot of respect for Miami, what Miami's done to the Patriots over recent games, and it's hard to pencil anything in when you say, well, maybe we are the third place team in the division when you stack up how good you really are.
Right.
That's a game at the end of the season that, regardless of the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. I think that's another one of those games where it's let's see where we're at against a really good team. So. A lot can happen, though, the last 2 months. A lot of injuries.
And I respect Cincinnati's talent. I don't necessarily respect the structure because I'm not sure about the coach and I'm not sure about the makeup, but I do respect the talent, and I think they're 4-4 too. Just like the Patriots. Now, at some point, you are what you are.
Yeah.
You're just a middling team with a bad record. Right now, Cincinnati's a middling team with a bad record. But I do respect their ability to be better than that moving forward. But, they're going to have to do it at some point. They're running out of weeks.
Did that Cincinnati-Cleveland game make any of you guys reconsider the Patriots win over Cleveland? Because it made me a little bit.
No, because it was a division game, and I think division games are always different. And
Brissett, what he was doing, the defense against Burrow. I mean, they were ferocious.
You know what Cleveland did that they didn't do against the Patriots?
Throw.
They just said, "Here's the ball." No. That's all they did against the Patriots was throw. They had Brissett just hand the ball off to Chubb and run wild.
Yeah.
And then when Chubb went out, they handed it off to Kareem Hunt, and he ran wild. Like
it's like
I think.
That's like saying, did your mind change about Pittsburgh for beating the Bucks? No. My mind didn't change.
But I don't think Pittsburgh looked as good as the Browns did again in that Bengals game. I was really impressed by what I saw from Cleveland.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's a division game. You're right.
Maybe it's just like a window into a peek into my soul. Like I was just unimpressed with what Cincinnati did again in that game, like more so than I was with anything. I mean, what was it like? 6-0 game with like 30 seconds left in the half.
They got shut out in the first half. I think.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Tough
it was tough to watch. It really was. I think it was 11-0 or something like that at the half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I bring that up though? Like and like Joe Burrow, like his situation. We had Floyd call in and say, "What is Mac Jones's thing?" And I feel, and I don't mean to knock Joe Burrow. I think he's
sounds like
great.
You're gonna though.
No, but I think he's great. But
sounds
I would just
like
say,
if it was a during the week comment, we could have a nice 45-minute argument about this.
But what would you say is his thing? Like, what would you say is his thing? Like his his elite skill that makes him
smoking cigars.
His arm. I think he's really good. I think he's really talented.
Arm talent.
I think his arm talent is really, really good, and I think he has much more escapability. As a runner than Mac Jones, although Mac Jones has impressed me with his mobility this year. I have to say that. I didn't think he hit some of the plays he's made. I didn't think he had in him.
I agree with you. I feel like he's one of the, like, it's easy when you look at like Justin Herbert. What is it? He's huge. He's got a rocket.
Joe Burrow doesn't have that kind of arm talent.
That's
yes,
just
you
why
are correct.
That's just why I'm kind of like, look, like I understand what Floyd's point was, but I also think that there are very good quarterbacks that it's not just like, well, he's 6'5" and can, Burrow is an awesome quarterback, and I have all the respect in the world for him, but it's not always as clear with every
starting
single
to see
player
it a little bit with Joe Burrow around here. Like, what happened when Jamar Chase was out? I don't know what happened before Jamar Chase was in. I saw plenty before they even got Jamar Chase. Did that vault him to another level? Yep, because Jamar Chase is outstanding, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no.
Maybe he's just.
And again, I'm not trying to. It's sometimes with some quarterbacks, it's obvious. Like Josh Allen, it's obvious what makes him awesome. It's obvious what makes. But some other quarterbacks, and it's just even like a guy like Taylor Heineke. I'm not saying he's awesome, but it's like what makes him able to win.
But you also can't compare.
He can't.
Yeah,
because he has no skills.
You can't compare him to, I think, the first-round draft pick of a Mac Jones or Joe Burrow.
But that's not the comparison I'm trying to make. I'm just saying a physical comparison when you look at a quarterback and you say what enables that guy to win. Sometimes with elite guys, it's obvious, but with other guys who are, even just middling quarterbacks,
it's a great question.
It's not always just like, that's what makes him good.
Mac Jones' thing is like he's a hard worker, and when he has great coaching, he looks good. Whereas I think the rest of them actually have like individual talent.
Like I would look at Joe Burrow, for example, and again, I could be totally wrong on this. You might, some NFL like scout would say, you know what, not really a whole lot to decipher between the arms. To me, when I watch Joe Burrow throw, I see more impressive.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong, okay? But you can't argue that taking over the Cincinnati Bengals, which is arguably the worst franchise in football, and doing what he's done in a couple of years while getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Physically.
Didn't he tear his ACL?
Because they can't protect him at all. This is 3 years. They can't protect him at all. Again, what do I want to see from Mac Jones? And again, not necessarily today. I want to see them have to win a game from behind. I want to see him have to win the game because we couldn't run the ball at all today, and we had to throw the ball 48 times. I want to see them have to win a game 38-35. I've seen Joe Burrow do all of those things a lot. I haven't really seen Mac Jones do them all. So, you're probably right. Like, from a physical standpoint, I think Joe Burrow has a lot over Mac Jones, but it might not be that different.
Yeah.
But I think
And I mean,
the end result is different. That's why I would take Joe Burrow over Justin Herbert, who I think is more skilled.
That's the comparison. I didn't want to get lost in the Mac
That's
Jones
why I said I
versus
think
him.
you
Like, I wasn't
brought up
trying
a
to
good.
say
It's a
I wasn't
good
trying to
topic
say
to
that
bring
Mac
up.
Jones is just as good as Joe Burrow.
I know you
physically.
weren't.
But I think that's the better comparison. Where if you're looking at exact skills, everybody'd be on.
To
top
me,
of
Joe
Justin
Burrow.
Herbert.
You guys are too young, especially you, Tamara.
Oh my gosh.
But to me, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert could be like Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. Like anybody that's watching would say Herbert's the better player, the better talent, and who won every time when it mattered.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I look at Joe Burrow. Like he's got intangibles in his pockets.
I think for Mac, I think it just has to be everything has to be perfect. He has to have a great coach, great line, great pieces around him. Whereas like Joe Burrow, like he can get a win no matter what's going on. Like like in Cincinnati, like he's in a really interesting situation, but he still finds a way to win. Whereas like, if you put Mac there, I literally don't know what they'd be doing.
And I think that's what you're getting to the heart of the Mac Jones.
Well, against Cleveland,
debate,
Bailey Zappi found a way to win, and
right, and Joe Burrow was awful in that game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know he got sacked 100 times, but he wasn't good. I don't care how many times he got sacked. He didn't play well.
I think like, for example, in Alabama, like everything's perfect. Like Nick Saban puts you in a position to be great. Like. He finds out what works for you. Like
and
he
Burrow
gets
had
all
that.
the pieces around. Like
and to Mike's point, Burrow had that at LSU.
Yeah.
I mean that LSU team was one of the all-time greatest college football teams ever assembled. Those guys just were dominant. I like to say.
Yes,
Speaking of dominant, that LSU win last night. Amazing.
I missed it.
Alabama.
I was watching Georgia and Tennessee.
I only watched Brian Kelly's post game to see if he was still doing the accent.
You know what? I was kind of like it was the most human I've ever seen him
Me
appear.
too,
He had,
I know.
He had a little emotion in his voice, like he was like
crying,
kind of getting a little bit emotional.
Well, we had him out on the run.
and I didn't hear any of that. Nothing about family or anything.
Like crawfish in a barrel right there. What?
It was. And I loved the decision to go for two. And like Chris Fowler, you could tell was like apoplectic. Like, what is he doing? Like,
well, it's funny
because now like he's putting it so if I make one play, I win, as opposed to how many other plays. Because now I have to get the ball, I have to get a touchdown, and I have to get the two, and then I have to stop them, and then if I don't, then they like
right now. Let's just bring it to a head.
I have a chance to make one play and end the game. I love it. I liked the decision, and then they had a great play call.
He was in a similar situation against Florida State. What was it, the first or second game of the year? And people gave him a lot of crap for how he ended that game.
Yeah, he kicked the extra point and it got blocked.
Yes. And so I think that this put in that same situation again last night, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go for two here. Which I was a little shocked about, but I'm honestly not surprised in a way because I've been a firm believer in Brian Kelly because I'm a Notre Dame person. But I know a lot of people were like, he can't do at LSU what he did at Notre Dame, and so I was just kind of happy to see him get that.
Are you a Charlie Weiss believer too? Because he was a Notre Dame guy.
No.
About
Brian Kelly.
What's the statute of limitations on whether or not you believe on them?
I was there when Brian Kelly was there, so.
Actually,
so it's not just guys named Kelly.
No,
Brian.
but I saw my first year at Notre Dame. Like they were like 3-8. They were not good, and then he flipped them the next year, and they were going to a bowl game. They were great. Then he kind of kept building on that, and so I think that he can hopefully do the same thing at LSU if people just give him patience. And honestly, I was looking for the reporter, and I tweeted this last night. So after that loss to Florida State, a reporter was late. I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but. Brian Kelly said something to him about like.
Oh, it was the greatest line ever. The reporters like.
He was like, "I'll be on time when you win some games."
Oh,
yeah. I said, "I bet you he was on time last night, though." I would love to know who that reporter is.
For that guy
because I just think like
tonight?
the Matt Patricia thing, like sit up straight, show some. I just think coaches that pick on the media members, like it's the lowest of the low, and like you're making fun of the guy because he was late for the press conference. Like, please.
He's got a story to file. Give him a break.
And that's an Everett guy. He was born in Everett. I still was making fun of Brian Kelly.
There you go. All right, 855-PATS 500 is your phone number. We got a couple people hanging out on the line. Let's jump to them. What do you say? Peter is out in Marblehead. He's got a question about the Patriots and their record. Go ahead, Peter. Peter? Okay, Peter. Oh, there you go. What's up?
Peter, where are you?
I guess he's not there. All right, we'll put him on hold, and let's try Deshaun, who is in Virginia. Hey, Deshaun.
Hello, guys. How you guys are doing?
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, I don't want to sound like a party people or whatever, but do you guys think that that the Patriots is just kind of wasting their time? You know, because I see people talk about seeding and stuff like that, but all I can see is just another butt whipping and a playoff if they actually made it. I feel like this would be overachieving. You know, with somewhat very average players. Like, I prefer them to get, like, high draft picks rather than make it just to get another butt whip.
You're ready to tank, Deshaun. That's what you're saying. You're ready for this team to start tanking.
Yeah. Right, because I don't see them doing anything. I just think it's a waste of time.
Well, but let me say this, though, Deshaun, you know, let's think about their schedule down the stretch. Okay, so starting on Thanksgiving with Minnesota, and I'm not going to get this in order, but
I got you.
You know, the rest of the way, it's Minnesota, it's Buffalo,
Bills,
it's the Cardinals and Raiders on the road, it's Cincinnati, it's Miami, it's Buffalo again.
You did it.
Okay, that's in order.
Yep.
Wow. I really need to get a hobby. So, if you win enough of those games to get yourself in the playoffs, won't you feel a little bit better when you play a team like that? Because a lot of those teams, I mean, Miami, Buffalo twice, Minnesota, those are playoff caliber teams. So if you win enough of those games against teams like that, wouldn't you feel a little bit better going, let's say they end up with a wild card and end up with like the 6, like last year they were the 6 seed, so you'd play the 3. Like, do you think they couldn't go to, like, say, Baltimore and win?
I don't know, and that's the point I made
now,
earlier.
if you're asking me, what do I think will happen right now?
Probably get Lamar.
I think they would lose. But I wouldn't say that they go into that game with no chance. Like, I kind of felt last year heading to Buffalo, they didn't have much of a chance, unless the weather, you know, was a factor again, like it was in the previous trip to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And it was really cold that night, but it wasn't as windy, and it wasn't an impactful game in terms of the elements. But I wouldn't look at a game against Baltimore. I don't know who else. Like the Tennessee. I wouldn't look at games against teams like that as being unwinnable. Cincinnati.
No.
You know, I might feel differently depending on what I see against Cincinnati when they come here on Christmas Eve.
I think that's the thing that's hard right now is we're all living on the no punt, the back-to-back no punters.
Right.
And you're going to see Buffalo twice, so who knows? Maybe they come up with something that at least makes you think like. But right now, I feel like.
But even if they don't look that much better against Buffalo, you're not necessarily playing Buffalo in that first playoff game. Most likely, Buffalo's going to be the one and get the bye, and you're going to end up being, you know, a wild card, and you'll go to Kansas City or Baltimore or Cincinnati, something like that. I don't dismiss their chances in a game like that.
No,
they'd be the underdog, but I don't dismiss their chances.
I can almost talk myself into. We got a chance against Kansas City. I mean, I don't know if I really believe it, but I think I could talk myself into it.
Your chance against Kansas City is them taking the pipe. Like they choke again, like they are wont to do.
Yeah. I would say we would have a chance against the Baltimore Ravens too. I mean, there was a chance
right now
here
it's just
before.
Buffalo for me, where it's like, that's probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel great in a game against Buffalo in a playoff game. I wouldn't feel great. But, to your point, what if they beat Buffalo twice and they still and then they have to go? Like I wouldn't say like, well, they can't do it, they can't win.
And I think to your point too, Paul, you're going to get great tests against the Bengals and Dolphins, two teams that I expect to be very much right in this lower AFC playoff mix. So. Like you said, you're going to come out of those two games. We'll see what the last Buffalo game potentially means in terms of, who's playing, that stuff. But
like I've heard a lot of talk about that already. Like, they might have it all wrapped up. They might just, rest all their players. That's what we're banking on. The other team,
fingers crossed.
Oh, how the turntables.
The tried and true Patriots path to perfection. Like the other team's players don't play.
Yeah, very simple. This has been brought up a couple other places, but I figured we'd throw it out here. If there's any lingering Zappy fever among the Patriots faithful, this is Mac's first time playing at home since he got booed off the field, basically, and got subbed out in that Monday night game. Yeah. Could that rear its head today?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, sure. If
he
plays
he'll be
bad,
chanting for Bailey
he throws interceptions, and it's not going good. I mean, I think right now Patriot fans probably a lot of them feel like I do, where it's blood in the water with Indy and get a jump on them and just put this one to bed. And if it starts to get low scoring mistakes, and that's not crazy. I mean, I like our guest said, Indy's got a pretty good defense. There's every reason to believe.
What if the game starts offensively like it did last week?
Absolutely.
Like if that game was at home last week, don't you think it would have been a repeat of the Monday night game in terms of the crowd?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. I think it certainly could have.
I think it all depends on how this game
it's an ugly
unfolds.
Start to that game,
and just the mistakes. Mac, how many games in a row have we had an interception with him? You know, he needs a clean game. He doesn't have to be spectacular, but it's not easy. It's not an easy game. And up front, those guys are going to make life difficult. I really, I'd be concerned thinking about Cole Strange and James Ferentz in the middle of this line going against those guys. They're going to have their hands full.
Is Cole Strange going to have a better matchup today? Obviously, Quinnen Williams was a handful last week, but
I mean, Grover Stewart and that's DeForest Buckner. Those two guys. I mean, how much are they going to be right over him? It'd probably be more Stewart, because Buckner plays more on the edges. But right tackle's been a problem too. So you can only help out so many spots too, and so that's another part of it. How are they going to get Mac confident and establish a pocket and get into a rhythm? It's a game that's going to be really interesting how it unfolds, because I think you could see it go a couple different ways.
Did our friend Nate say that Shaq Leonard wasn't playing today?
He'll play. He only played about 20 snaps last week, though.
Okay.
So he's coming back from injury. He'll play a little bit, but he's not going to be the every down, all over the place linebacker that he usually is.
Well, linebacker, that's where you can attack these guys a little bit, because they got really a real good front, and I think their secondary is pretty good. But at linebacker, they're right?
So maybe
not as much star
some
power
tight ends. Maybe you leak Ramondre out a little bit, and continue to work him in the passing.
They've struggled with tight ends, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe it's a formula for actually getting the Patriots offense going. Maybe getting, as Tamara said, get Hunter Henry going in the red zone, throw some touchdowns to him. It's at this point, though, where it's like, is one touchdown to Hunter Henry or one big play to Jonnu Smith, or is any of that really going to be enough to make you change how you feel right now? Probably not.
But I do think with Mac Jones, we haven't even seen him really use the tight ends. Like Bailey Zappi did, but we were waiting on Mac Jones to use them.
Yeah, no problem with it last year.
Fantasy owners sure are. I know that. All right, so we've established that we think there's a chance if Mac gets off to a bad start.
Oh, look, Hunter Henry.
That there's Hunter. He's got his hoodie on.
Yeah,
if they get off to a bad start, the fans could get on him. Could the coaching staff listen to the fans?
I don't think at this point.
No.
Unless it's untenable and it's like 3 interceptions that are right to guys. Like that kind
that's
of
different.
stuff. That's different.
Yeah.
But overall,
it's got to be 3.
He's got to.
No, but it would have to be a bottoming out, disastrous performance.
Yeah.
I agree with
I think
Mike.
there's a middle ground, though, where there's one bad interception and the coaches are going to let them work through it, and the fans are probably not going to be as patient with their vocal response.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I don't expect a change unless it's injury related. And then I would say I would leave that 1 or 2% for, like, all of a sudden he turns into a puddle on I don't expect that.
No.
Like, I don't think he can face much more adversity than he did last week in terms of the amount of pressure he was under, the lack of movement. They couldn't move the ball at all. He's getting killed. He has no time, and he didn't turn into a puddle in that game. So I don't really see that happening.
A lot of people. Sorry, go ahead, Dora.
I was going to say, obviously Nate mentioned, on 4th down with how good this Colts defense is. I wouldn't even try it. Do you think, similar to last game, that Bill will come out and try to go for it versus taking points?
I wouldn't. I mean, I feel like this is the kind of game where we just need to do what we can on defense and let the points come for us when they come. But I wouldn't try to push the issue and try to give them, an easy score or anything. Like I would be fairly conservative, I think, out of the gate with this one. And
they played that game against the Bears a little
play.
bit, even when they were down. They were still sort of treating it like, well, they're not going to keep scoring, and they did. They kept scoring. So I don't know. I sort of agree. I feel like the Patriots aren't in any position where they can do that. But
you see, the All Blues are back.
All Blues.
So
I guess we're playing flag football today. Looked like Jabril Peppers had his flags on.
For those of you that like the unmatching silver pants that they wore a couple of weeks ago, we don't see those again this week.
Not today. Fred didn't pull his magic, I guess, but that's all right. It's fine. I like the grays, but I agree. These Blues have grown on me a little bit.
You know what I'd really like to see? This is random, but I'd really like to see
a touchdown.
White helmet with the flying Elvis.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people.
Could that happen?
A lot of people have talked about it. The mix of the two helmets.
Somebody sent me a mock-up of one which was white and it had like the red and blue striping down the middle, but then it had the Elvis on the side.
But the Elvis, it looks like it should be the Pat Patriot, but it's I think that would look cool.
Yeah.
Other people have mentioned this. I thought I had some real unique take there.
It's funny because I'm thinking about like guys who can make something out of nothing, and J.J. Taylor's got some quick lateral agility.
Yeah,
he seems like he's kind of got
surprised to see a little of him today.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, it's been probably a year since we last saw him actually play games. So, but talk about a guy who can, if somebody's right in his face, right in the backfield, can make somebody miss right out of the gate. yeah, we'll see with JJ if he gets another chance today.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Stevenson continue what he started last week. I know he's been playing well all year, but last week I feel like was a real breakout sort of performance for him, catching the ball too. He was so dynamic and so effective. Yeah. I know this is a different team and a different front, and they're probably going to zero in on him because, listen, Ramondre Stevenson is a backup running back. You know, you don't necessarily game plan for on the other side. Like, we got to shut this guy down. Now, between him and Jacoby Myers, if I'm the Colts and the Colts defensive people, I say these are the two guys. Take them out. You're good.
Tackle them. I mean, that's what, if I were the Colts, that would be my biggest thing. And I think you got to be aware of him in the passing game, too. I mean, he's starting to contribute more and more in that avenue as well. You know, how much are the Patriots willing to stay that course, though, to play him? I mean, again, you're going to have another day. Harris is out here. I mean, are they going into this one thinking, all right, we're going to ride Ramondre mostly today? Or you know, do they have some kind of plan to start to get strong, or J.J. Taylor, you know, aside from just, all right, he needs a blow right now, get him out and let him have a quick rest. But, you know, it might be a huge Ramondre day just as far as him playing most of the snaps.
Yeah. Have we seen any indication who might be starting at right tackle
today?
That
Ty Law?
That looks like Ty.
There's Ty Law.
We haven't really seen. I haven't seen anything on Twitter yet about that. But I want to get Deuce's opinion. You know, Mike, every year for 100 years in a row, at this time of year, like you head toward like November sweeps. You know, week 8, week 9, week 10. It's Patriots, it's Colts. It was Brady. It was Manning. You know. Do you have like one of those games that's regular season I'm talking about that stood out to you?
Oh, so many memories of different places watching them in California. But I mean, I kind of go to the 4th and 2 game. I hate that one, but I mean, 2007 was an amazing game too. I mean, I thought just the hype of both the undefeated teams. You know, the Patriots kind of pulling it back at the end, and I mean, just so many epic games. I mean, it's changed. I'd almost throw it back to you too, Paul, of like, because I was wondering about. You know, like that first game in 2003 in the playoffs where you'd had that big game there, Willie McGinnis stops, but just that playoff game with, you know, the Colts rolling and Peyton Manning and, you know, the Patriots shutting them down. Just so many great games in the 2000s between those two teams.
Yeah, I love the goal line stand in 2003 was just a unbelievable finish to a game that had enormous ramifications for the playoffs. It was the difference between being on the road or at home in the playoffs. That year as Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi take the field. You know, when we're getting a live look at the pregame warmups, and you know what that always brings me to, Mike.
Your data?
Yeah, today's key data point presented by Demand Science. I said data that time. You guys going to yell at me?
Probably you're from data.
Data.
You're from data.
I mean, it's data. So today's key data point presented by Demand Science is I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
And that's why I teed you up for that.
Love it.
Because every year, Christian, this was the game. Brady Manning in November. And the one that really stands out is the matchup of the two Titans. They met routinely in November for one of the biggest games in the NFL regular season. And the one in 2007, to me, was the one that stood out above the rest. Both teams came in undefeated. Patriots were 8-0. The Colts were 7-0. They're in Indianapolis. Patriots fall behind 20-10 early in the fourth quarter. Things were not looking good. This high-powered offense that the Patriots had, no one really could solve it. And the Colts, of all teams, who were never really known for their defense, really stymied Tom Brady. Couple of picks that day for Brady, but not when it had to happen. Not when he had to have it. Touchdowns, I think, to Welker and Kevin Falk in the last 10 minutes of the game. Then a strip sack, I think, recovered by Rosie Colvin.
Correct, yeah.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Is this right?
Yeah. Is that the game where Manning threw a touchdown to Dan Klecko? Was that
No,
in that game?
that was the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. That was, okay. Yeah.
So 2007, that game to me stood out. It was a 24-20 win for the Patriots. And when I tell you guys, I've been on the team plane, humble brag, many, many times. And I can tell you 95% of the time when we're flying home and I'm just sitting there writing my stories, I couldn't tell you, based on the reaction of the team, whether they won or lost. That game, you could tell who won because that was as raucous a ride home as I can remember. And I think it was just worth sort of talking about some of those Patriots-Colts games because every year it was the same thing. Like the NFL knew, like, this is our ratings bonanza here. It wasn't like it is now where the top 20 ratings in primetime TV or whatever, anything, are all going to be NFL games. It wasn't always like that, but it was always like that when Brady and Manning got together. And that's why I chose that for the key data point presented by Demand Science for that one, because that was just off the charts special, that 2007 matchup.
I mean, coming off that 06 AFC Championship loss, you felt like the Patriots offense was, floundering a little bit, needed to make big changes. You get Moss, Welker, all that. Then you come back week 9, finish off I think they went into the bye week after that one. If I remember correctly, that might have been
I think that's correct.
Right off of, but I mean, they can see why they would have felt great. Seemed like the offseason plan was working. They were kind of standing alone at that point.
I mean, that Colts team was really good too. They had won the Super Bowl the previous year. They finally got over that hump. They had the confidence, and for a long time in that game, they were the better team.
Yeah, well, they beat them here in 05 and 06. I think
that
was the last time the Colts had won here, I believe. Was that 06? Might even have been a Monday nighter, but same kind of thing. One of those games where you just felt like
4 picks for Brady.
Peyton Manning was just throwing dimes all over the place. I remember one to, I think it was Marvin Harrison, just where you're like, yeah, we ain't got a chance today. That was the first time you felt like
catch in the end zone where he somehow got his foot down. I remember that one.
Nothing you can do.
Do you remember that year where they played in Week 1?
Yeah, that was 04.
04, I think. Yeah, I know
that
was
04, and that was another game that the Colts
was awesome.
The Colts left kicking themselves between. They fumbled inside the 1 in the second quarter. Vanderjagt missed a field goal that would have tied the game. They had a wide open receiver on the last drive. They should have scored a touchdown. Then they ended up with a huge sack. I think Willie McGinnis and Rodney Harrison blitzed. Huge sack on the third down. It led to the field goal, and then Vanderjagt missed it by 100 miles. The liquored-up kicker, as Manning called him.
Yes.
So, that was a memorable game, too, that 27-24 Patriots win to open the 2004 season.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a cool way to start the year.
So memorable. I mean, so many games you just say one word or one play and you remember. I mean, those were the games that really were the highlights of the season.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go back to the phones. What do you say? 855-PATS-500. That's your phone number. Jeff is in Texas. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Guys and gal.
Hey, Jeff.
I'm really disappointed about the trade deadline, and you guys might have talked about this a lot last week. I missed some of the shows, but I have a couple of questions about it. I did not know until just now on the show that they had tried to go after Claypool.
Right.
But on my thoughts on that,
Perillo didn't know either. So
I didn't know. No, that was a report. I guess that came out this morning from Mike Florio.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. I was not aware of it either.
Looking at I think what the team, should have targeted, maybe they did, is some help for the offensive line of the defense and not the wide receivers. And because that I think you would just address in the off season in next year's draft and maybe make a blockbuster trade there, next year. But as far as right now, so it's we don't know who else they might have, tried to go after, and also, in your answer might be, well, there just wasn't anyone available. For defense or offense, but could it also be that maybe, Belichick's just this is good. We're not necessarily a playoff team. We're just going to sit pat. That could be too, right?
I suppose. Yeah. I don't think he's treating it that way.
I think the point about the offensive line is apt. I mean, that was a spot where you said, hey, they need some help here. At the end of the day, though, it's let's trade Isaiah Wynn for another tackle who you definitely think is going to be better. It's tough. I mean, I think there are a lot of teams out there that need tackles. The Chase Claypool thing doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, unless you were really going to flop Aguilar and then bring somebody in who, I mean, you think he's got a couple more years on his deal, but I don't know. I don't get that. I would have gotten an offensive line kind of reinforcement pick, but other than that, it's just hard to say, oh, this is absolutely where we can improve. You want to see some young players play in some spots. I don't want to go out and get a cornerback and then say, all right, Jack Jones, you're not playing anymore. So some of that going on, too. I wasn't entirely surprised they didn't really do anything in the trade deadline.
I wasn't expecting them to go out and sign some big-name offensive lineman, but a sixth for Jermaine Illuminor or some kind of random move like that. You remember when he did that?
Something like that, sure.
Right. I thought maybe they just bring in some bodies to help him out there.
Well, but what would you said if they brought in Claypool? What would you have thought? That they really, really loved him. And
I would have been interested to see what they gave up in return.
Yeah.
But
If they didn't also trade a wide receiver out of there, I would have thought, well, this is a lot. Yeah.
And I do think that Claypool is kind of Bill's kind of receiver, like a physical guy who'll block and, contested catches and things like that. So I can understand. I just don't feel like it really fills a huge need.
No, because you
I
can't
agree
get
with
any
the
production
caller.
out of the receivers you got. Why would you tell me that Chase Claypool was going to come here and be productive when guys you've had here for a year plus, they haven't been productive? It's hard.
And I don't know what kind of lineman might have been available, to the caller's point. But my guess is it would have been like the Justin Herron and Jermaine Illumero types that you've seen the Patriots pick up. And, you plug them in and they might be able to help you. But is he any better than Yadni Kajest? I mean, Herron certainly wasn't in the summer when they, which is, I think, what led them to deal him to Las Vegas in the first place.
Yeah, good. I mean, just to highlight Kajust, too, do we see him today maybe get a chance? Was on IR for a while. Now Marcus Cannon's out. I mean, even if he gets some time as like a third tight end, starting to get his feet a little bit better, it just seems like that could be a potential, one of the few options that you maybe could try.
Am I the only one that when a guy lands on the injury report with a concussion following a practice, then 2 days later gets on IR, and that I say, well, what the hell are they doing at practice? Like they practice with pads.
Ramming things?
They practice in pads on Wednesday. And I guess it's just another one of those things you never know, like, what is going to cause a concussion.
Yeah.
But he got a concussion that they know he's going to be out 4 weeks.
Must have been significant.
So I would think that that's significant. Or they just said, well, you're going to be out this week. We need the flexibility. And
do they wear those Guardian caps in practice anymore?
I don't know.
Or is that just a training camp thing?
We should ask
Evan.
should ask Evan when he returns from practice.
Yeah.
Evan.
We'll ask him. We'll ask him all about that. I thought those things. I don't know if they worked, but they looked really cool.
They did look really cool. I mean, I don't know if they worked either, but they said they worked. And why would you do away with them then? Why not just keep them? If you're going to do it in training camp, just keep them for padded practices during the season. I don't know why you would just stop wearing them.
Why not make the whole plane out of those hats?
Just forever.
Yeah. All right.
Like full time.
Hey, Patriots fans, I'm here to tell you about NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can also use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com. Quick break. We'll come back and get you our Sunday six-pack right here on Patriots Pregame.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Johnny, you funny.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Mike on the season's 21-21. Paul's 21-21. Hardy's 20-22. What a loser.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Christian Arcan.
I don't remember saying that about Hardy, but it's on tape, I guess.
The shoe fits.
I guess I must have. Sorry about that, buddy. Real quick, I want to tell everybody that this segment here is brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo or family style. Whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. All right, before we get to our Sunday six-pack, which, by the way, I'm gaining on you there, Perillo. Let's take one last phone call. This one from Sean, who is in New Hampshire, percentage-wise, not total, obviously. Sean in New Hampshire, go ahead.
We hate percentages.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey.
Hey, I heard you say the game was a little bit less than 2 hours away. You might want to check the clock. It was daylight savings time.
Oh, shoot.
What?
I know, but I took that into consideration when I said that.
Math is hard.
Well, it starts at 1, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And I said that at like 11:20 or whatever, that it's a little under 2 hours away. Anything else, John?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Wow. Christian.
So sorry if I'm yelling.
Okay.
If Mac Jones is getting some easier plays like they were feeding Zappy, right? What do you think the chances are that if he can't hack it, that we look for another quarterback next year?
I wouldn't totally rule it out. I don't know about a first-round pick, but I mean, I think Max, he's got to make some strides this year. I mean, we just haven't seen enough early on. I mean, the injury's part of it for sure, but it's not going to get any easier for him. I think all these games after the bye are going to be real tough, and you know, I think like everybody, we're all kind of waiting just to see some kind of confirmation of what we saw last year with Mac, that, you know, this is a kid who's on a trajectory of going up and that the offense is going to rally around him. And I just love to see the protection kind of improve and give him a chance, and then we'll kind of see. But I don't know. I don't think Paul or I at any point has said, oh, this is it, we're done. Mac Jones, 10 years. I mean, he's got a lot still to prove in my mind.
Okay. All right. Well, without any further ado, let's get into it. It is time for the Sunday six-pack.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
All right, here's how it went last week in the Sunday six-pack. Mike, you were the star. Deuce with a 5-1 week. Nice job.
There we go.
I brought you up to 500. You needed it to get you to
right.
21-21.
Good job, Mike.
Paul at 4-2 with a nice week. Gets to 28-14.
Wow, that's a nice number.
Hardy went 2-4, dropping him to 17-25.
What's he doing?
Jesus.
Playing a little Fred.
I went 4-2, which brings me up to 9-3, which I'm no math major, but I believe is about 75% I'm picking it.
Yes.
So, you know, ride with
Mr.
me.
Percentages. So, according to Mark Daniels,
yes,
Yadni Kajust is the right tackle right now. Brown, Strange, Ferentz, Onwenu, and Kajust.
Like it.
So we'll see if that ends up. Now I've seen many times when they've made alterations after the fact, but according to Mark Daniels, that's what they're warming up with. We see a quick shot of Trent Brown right there. That just
there's Kajust right there.
These 72. Are just individual drills right now. I just saw Wynn take a rep.
I mean, if Kajust cannot jump off sides or hold anybody for 4 quarters, then I'd say he's a step up already.
I wonder if it has anything to do with Wynn and them
left guard.
Them feeling like he needs to be available to play left guard.
That could be, yeah.
Yep.
Mike Reese, same thing. Lines up. Kajust lines up at right tackle. We'll see if that holds for the game. Devin Lazar, our own, same thing. So everybody's in agreement. It looks like Kajust could get his first career start?
Yeah, well, Evan's saying win and change are kind of rotating it.
Will it be his first career start, Mike?
I believe it would be.
Okay.
Unless he filled in last year at some point.
Unless he started another game at a previous juncture of his career.
Possible.
This would be his first start.
We'll check the stats and info.
Correct.
Back to you on that one.
All right, well, here we go.
Let's
Our 1 o'clock games. We have the Buffalo Bills, road favorites, taking on the Jets at MetLife. Bills favored by 12.5. I can tell you that Hardy is taking the Jets here, plus 12.5. Deuce, what say you?
Yeah, that's a lot of points, and the Bills are missing some bodies. Start with Matt Milano, which I think is significant. I like the Jets' defense. I think they'll have a little something for the Bills, but I don't think enough. I'm still going to go with the Bills, and I'll drop the points.
All right, Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets, too. Not necessarily because I'm overly impressed with the Jets, because I'm not. I just feel like 12.5's a lot. On the road especially. And Mike talked about some of the guys, some of the pieces missing. No Poyer, right? No Milano. Tre'Davious White is a healthy scratch. He's not quite ready to get back out there yet. So I don't know. I'll take the 12.5.
I'm going to go with the Bills here just because I think they'll get out to a lead, and that's going to force Wilson to make some dumb throws like he did against the Patriots. And
he'll be slinging it,
You
bro.
barely have to even force him. He just kind of does it.
You really
bro,
don't.
Bro,
really
he'll
don't.
be slinging it, bro. You're going to lose, bro.
Not much you got to do there. I think 2 scores is certainly within reach for Buffalo, even on the road and even with missing those guys, so I'm going to take the Bills. All right, we stay in the AFC East for this next one. The Miami Dolphins are also road favorites, -5 in Chicago. I can tell you that Hardy is taking the Dolphins. What say you, fellas?
Yeah, Paul's going to take the Dolphins also. Just a believer of that offense. I did bring this up on Thursday when we made the picks. I'm going to be watching Miami's offense as they play on the road, outdoors, as the weather continues to deteriorate. Like the game that Ohio State and Northwestern played yesterday, as an example. I'm not sure Tua has the makeup to deal with that kind of weather on the road. So I'll take Miami today, but hey, Miami, I'm watching you.
Yeah, you put on notice.
I'm watching you.
I'm gonna go with Miami as well. I thought the Bears played well against the Patriots, but I think Miami. But I think it's a good point, Paul.
Yeah, you know me. You know I like to be the contrarian, but I can't do it for this one. I can't believe in the Bears like that. I think the Dolphins, even on the road with that sort of with those sort of conditions, just have too much speed and they're just too good. So I'm going to go ahead and give them the 5 as well. The only thing I could possibly see happening is maybe the Bears getting a little closer, but I don't see any path to victory for them. Moving on, let's head to the NFC North. Nice matchup there between the Green Bay Packers at 3-5 and the 1-6 Detroit Lions. Another road favorite as the Lions are home dogs plus 3.5. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll take Green Bay on the road on this one. Hard to make a pick with the Lions. I don't love what Aaron Rodgers, obviously, what they've been doing, but I think they'll have enough to beat the divisional rival.
Yeah, everything Mike just said I would agree with. I think Green Bay stinks, but Detroit stinks worse.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going with Green Bay, and of course Hardy is going with his Detroit Lions. God bless his heart. All right, to the 4 o'clock game we go. There's only 2 4 o'clock games today, one at 4 and one at 4:25. The 4 o'clock game has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, finally a home team that is favored. They're favored by 3 points over the Los Angeles Rams. Both of these teams under 500, both underachieving this year. What do you guys think this one? How do you think this one's going to go?
Quite a game. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm going to take Tampa. Really having a hard time picking both of these teams all year. I think the offensive line problems on both sides have been a huge issue, and older quarterbacks having a hard time dealing with the lack of protection. I'll take the Bucs to bounce back at home.
Yeah, I'll take it too. Really interesting game, though. I feel like whoever loses this game, it's going to be all hands on deck, red alert. So give me Tampa. I think that's going to be the Rams that are on alert.
All right,
Los Angeles Rams.
Hardy is picking the Rams plus 3, and I am picking the Rams plus 3. I just think that they got a little bit more firepower, and I am no believer in the Bucs these days. I think that they're
Bucs.
Bucs. Okay.
I think that they're really falling apart right in front of our very eyes. I'm just looking right now. I've picked every single away team. What an idiot I am. And finally, Sunday Night Football. Before we get to this Patriots Colts matchup, Sunday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans at 5-2. The Kansas City Chiefs also 5-2, and despite them both being 5-2, the Chiefs are favored by 2 scores. 12.5 is the spread here. That's a big number. What do you guys think?
I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the Titans. I know they're trying to pull some shenanigans about who's starting at quarterback. They're trying to keep it hush hush, but I think the defense plays Kansas City pretty tough in the past. I just think it'll be closer than 12. I'll take Titans.
Yeah, I will take the Chiefs, and I'm going to lay the 12.5 in this game and not Buffalo because of 2 reasons. 1, the game is at home for Kansas City, and 2, I don't think that Ryan Tannehill will be playing. I think it'll be Malik Willis again, and it's tough to keep up with a high-powered offense playing the way they played last week with Willis. So I'll lay the points.
I'm going with the Titans. Once again, I'm going with the away team. What is wrong with me? That's 5 away teams I'm picking on.
What did Hardy have?
Hardy has Tennessee as well, so I guess that's you're the only one who's going outside of that one. Yeah, the Chiefs standing alone there with Kansas City. And finally, Indianapolis Colts 3-4-1. Patriots are 4-4. Pats at home -5. Anybody picking Indy?
No, I'm going to take the Patriots on this one. I just have a feeling this is a highlight game of the season. I think the Colts start slow. Patriots get exactly what they need, whether it's turnovers, points off special teams. Defense shuts them down. I think the Patriots are going to roll in a dominating fashion, 27-3. I don't think it's all going to be 27 on offense, but I think they'll get enough. They'll get enough on offense to be productive. So 27-3 Pats, and big win.
Yes, Paul's taking the points with the Colts. I just don't have a ton of faith in the offense right now. And now if it ends up being an avalanche and Sam Ehlinger turns it over 3 or 4 times, I'm going to look silly. Obviously, the Patriots will cover, and you'll go from there. I just feel like if the game is reasonably well played on both sides, I think it'll be a low-scoring, tight game that the Patriots will win. I'm going to say 16-13, something along maybe 19-13, something in that area. But I'm going to take the points. 5 points. I think the Patriots will win the game but not cover.
All right, Hardy's picking the Colts again because he needs to, and I'm going to go ahead and go with the Patriots. I think the Patriots can take this one, win it comfortably. We'll see how comfortable it actually is, but I think in terms of the final score, you're going to be looking at least 5. So I'm feeling pretty confident about that one. All right, there you go. That is the Sunday six-pack, and it is in the books here for this Week 9 matchup with the Patriots and the Colts. A lot of teams on the bye this week, which is why there's so few games in the afternoon, or in the 4 o'clock window, I should say. Really good Sunday night matchup, and a couple other good 1 o'clock games there if you're going to be flipping around on the old red zone. So there you go. That's what's going on in the NFL. Do we have any closing thoughts here before we sign off?
Well, like I said at the top, I think the bye comes at a good time for this team. I'd like to go in on a high note and go in feeling some positivity, like, maybe they figured something out. It's going to be hard. I think the defense is going to do what we've seen them do plenty of times the last couple years, which is just shut down an offense that, has kind of been completely changed over the last 2 weeks. And like I said, I just wonder where Indy's mentality is. Are they ready to fight? If this is a close game, like everybody is kind of, except for me, is predicting, is Indy going to have that fire going down to the fourth quarter to be able to, pull it out, or are things not going to go their way and they're going to kind of look and say, wait, where's Jonathan Taylor? Where's Naheem Hines? What are we doing out here? Let's get on the bus early. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Do some, for Indy, if you want to follow, there's a couple of game plans that you can look at. You can look at Cleveland 3 weeks ago, or you could look at Chicago 2 weeks ago. If you follow the Cleveland game plan, Mike's prediction of the game is going to come true. The Patriots will win going away. If you follow the Chicago game plan and you are somehow able to hold on to the football, I think the game will be close heading into the fourth quarter. I think the Patriots will just have too much and they'll be able to win. But I think if you run the ball and punt, I think you have a chance to win. If you want to throw it all over the place and have Sam Ehlinger throw 35, 40 passes, you're going to get 3 or 4 turnovers. I think the pressure will be applied. Young guys under pressure make bad decisions, be like Zach Wilson last week. Yeah,
and I think to your point, Paul, we talked a lot about Justin Fields kind of coming in here, and all of a sudden they've got all these quarterback design runs. That's something I'm curious about because they don't have a lot coming in, but I would expect that they're going to expand that a little bit for Ehlinger because what else can you do? And if they're going to play to your point, let's just try it and keep banging into the wall, and if we have to, and maybe we'll break one.
Just run it. That's what I would do. I don't think you can run Ehlinger like you did Fields because I don't think he's that kind of runner, but they do have 3 decent receivers and a tight end in Allie Cox, who's not bad. They don't have a lot of weapons. So just try to shorten the game.
Got to be creative. Try to spring something on the Patriots defense. Are they ready to handle even a running quarterback who, like you said, not dynamic, not Justin Fields, but a guy who's at least tough? do the Patriots kind of have some kind of adjustment now? We've heard Belichick say we've had trouble with running quarterbacks. If I were the Colts, I'd say let's see them handle this up close. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting part of the game. For sure.
I think they got to still finish these drives, and I'd really like to see Mac Jones win this fan base back over today. I think that would really be a big thing going into the break, and he has an opportunity, and not a great one. I mean, this is a tough defense, so it's not like it's going to be easy for him, but if he can win these fans back over, get them back on their side going into the bye week, I think that would be huge for this team.
Great point. I said it during the week. I just think this team could really use a feel-good home victory. You know, it's just it feels like it's been a while since they've had one of those. What are you really going to learn about them? We'll see exactly what the details are of it, but I totally agree. If you could have, a big play, a big hit downfield, something like that just to get everybody back on board, it'll be, a nice couple of weeks as you go into the bye.
Yeah, and they should win because every time I come in here, they win. Have you noticed that?
There you
every
go.
time I'm sitting in this
But you've
chair.
never been in person, though, so we'll
I
see.
haven't for a home
test.
game, that's true. So this is going to put that whole theory to the test. But so far, when I've been here, the Patriots are
they love you.
Undefeated.
And they hear your key. Your key is very key.
They hear it and they go, right, of course.
That's it.
Finish drives.
Don't listen to
I hadn't
Hardy's
been doing
dumb
that.
key. What the hell is that?
Yeah,
What's he
whatever.
telling us to do?
Yeah, with his terrible pick record. Like, what would we listen to him for? Yeah, no, that's right. You listen for that kind of insight. That's what you get there. All right, there you go. That is just about all the time we have here. This has been Patriots Pregame, fueled by Dunkin. For Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown, I'm Christian Arcand. We'll talk to you after the game right here on Patriots.com. Talk to you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.